This is the Griffin Realty Group Ask-A-Griffin podcast, episode number 74. We continue in our agent plan with the question, why do most agents make the mistake of starting with their sales department? Are you a home seller or home buyer who has questions about selling or buying residential property? Or maybe you're an agent who needs direction, but you can't find an easy way to get your answers? Well, then, hey, you are definitely in the right place. I'm Danny Griffin, the founder of the Griffin Realty Group and the host of the Ask-A-Griffin podcast. Now, to help you take immediate action to get started in the right direction, if you need to sell or buy property right now or in the near future, or maybe you just want to become a real estate agent, you can take advantage of our free step-by-step guides that are waiting for you at griffincourses.com. That's griffincourses.com. All right, let's get started. In this episode, we're talking about our agent plan. We have three plans: a seller plan, a buyer plan, and an agent plan. So it's really our best what to do information for free. And the question on the table is, why do most agents make the mistake of starting with sales? Now, what I mean in that context, if you've been listening to the series, you'll know that we talked about all sorts of things: business, marketing, etc., all in order that you should think about putting your business in. And a lot of people just see this as sales. Let me talk about the bullet points here, right? The first point is that the misperception is that real estate is a sales job versus a business. So you see, that misperception, a lot of people will look at real estate from afar and they say, oh, I want to be a real estate agent. If that guy or gal can do it, so can I. I can sell. That's what we say. So a lot of people that have sales backgrounds get into real estate because they can quote unquote sell. So they begin to try to sell. Well, the absurdity of that is that you come in and really most agencies are not set up as anything other than places for independent contractor salespeople to gather. There are very few formulas that I have seen. And as the owner of a brokerage, Griffin Realty Group, now we started another company called The Griffin, trying to take our formula across the country and into Canada as well, where we can bring formulaic strategic approach to agents. And the idea is that we tell them right away, look, it's not just about selling something. It's about formulating a business, a small business, the right way from the start. And most companies don't do that. So the perception is, oh, okay, well, let's just start selling. Well, how do you do that? Well, why don't you get me a list, says the brokerage, of all of the people that you know in your sphere of influence. It seems to be this go-to, rubber stamp sphere of influence. Just get me all the names and we're going to send a letter and we're going to let them know. And that's not a bad marketing idea because it now positions you as a real estate agent. And if you went to joined an association, you're probably a realtor as well. And it introduces you in this new context of friends, family, and people that are generally in the sphere of influence, right? But ultimately, you're not just going to sell them all. So what are you going to say in that first letter? What are you going to offer them? Is there a solution that you're offering? Are you just simply going to even be smart enough to start off by saying, hey, I'm a realtor now, and I'm going to be the one that tells you how the market's doing in this local marketplace once a month? See, that's more business thinking versus just running out and selling something. Because with the mentality of just running out to sell something, the first thing you're going to do is, hey, do you know anybody that's thinking about selling a house? Do you know anything about anybody that's buying a house? And are you thinking about doing that? Now, all of a sudden, your sphere of influence becomes creeped out by that approach. Nobody wants to be sold. Nobody. People want to be guided. They want to be informed. They want to be empowered. Think bigger words, right? So the misperception that real estate is a sales job versus a business is the first mistake about this sales department. The next thought, though, that I have for you is that there's no thought given to new business development. You see, when you actually come forward with a business plan, you have to think about, how will I develop a consistent flow of new business? If you just start with selling, you're in the sales mode. Really, that's a department. Think about it. New business development is way back at the beginning of your systematic approach. Way back at the beginning. How will I identify people in my geography that have a need to buy or sell property really soon, but at the latest inside the next 12 months? See, you're beginning to think about new business development and how will you do that? And then you have to think about, well, how does the real estate agency business work too? It's not just I'm going to sell somebody anybody. That's what a lot of us say when we first get into the business. Oh, well, I'll just sell anybody. I'll sell anything. I'll go anywhere. It's desperate. It's sloppy. It's non-strategic. Whereas if you think, well, wait a minute, we have this multiple listing service and in there are these listings. So it probably behooves me to give some thought to new business development around the acquisition of listings. Now, a lot of new agents sort of panic and they say, well, I don't really have, any experience. And why would they do business with me versus somebody else? Aha. Now we're talking the language of business and we're thinking about business development with solutions for ideal clients, especially listings. See the difference? All of a sudden, the change of the lens changes everything because now we start to think about solutions for people. We don't just look for their context to buy or sell. We can now go out and broadcast on a variety of channels. Hey, I'm a realtor. Here's how the local market's doing. Hey, by the way, if you or anybody you know is thinking about buying or selling in now or in the near future, then what I'll give them is a copy of my plan. It's my what to do stuff for free. That's what this whole podcast is. Listen to my intro in the podcast. Listen to the outro. It is the best what to do stuff for free. So it's a positioning. So at least people are aware that Griffin Realty Group exists. There's somebody behind the plan that has a strategy to give away its best what to do information. So at least the business leaves people better than we find them. Now, of course, if somebody wants to know how to do it and they're interested in how we do it, then that's going to lead towards maybe a phone call that leads to maybe us showing them 4 or 5 of their favorite properties that they like to buy, coming over to the house, giving them tips of what to do and what not to do to be prepared. All of this preceding any sort of a sale. There is no sale. It's information being given away, insight being added to that information, empowerment coming to the consumer through all that, magnetically attracting that person who has context that's coming soon. No sale yet. All new business development coming way before anything is sold, right? Because really, what is a sale? A sale is when somebody's finally ready and we list the property and we're trying to sell it to a buyer. Or the buyer is going through a bunch of houses out there and they're ready to buy and they're pre-approved and we're trying to sell them a house. So the real physical sale doesn't come until much later in the process. Now, a lot of us would love to think we're running into people who are right in the heat of the moment, ready to buy or sell and be involved in the largest single financial transaction most will ever make in a lifetime, and serendipitously, we're the one they choose. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Well, it doesn't work like that. Maybe it does with the 3 or 4 friends and family members you have a year, probably 1 to 2, but it doesn't work as a business plan. And that brings me to the last point here too. A lot of people are hoping for other people to refer them enough sales. Okay. They want to have enough sales opportunities referred to them. And what that does is it essentially renders them hobbyists. So all this thinking that the sale is somehow miraculously right in front of us and that our sphere of influence will do business with us and people within it will just send us people. We're sitting around waiting on the bench to be called off like by the coach to go in there and shoot the basket. Score the goal, run for the touchdown. We're just hoping for the pinnacle moment. And we're waiting around for somebody else to bring it to us most of the time. So we're really nothing more than hobbyists. We're not even good salespeople because we're not getting enough at-bats, as they say, right? So it's becoming a big hobby industry. All right, let me go back and reiterate this a little bit more slowly. I'm talking about one of our 3 what-to-do plans. It's the agent plan. I happen to be in the latter stage of it, talking about sales. Now, a lot of you would think that that comes first, but it doesn't. Here's why. The first point was the misperception is that real estate is a sales job versus the business that it really is. So in business, you can't talk about a sale until you talk about marketing and new business development, then conversion of that until a sale is upon you. So it's all this development and conversion that happens for a second point. No thought is really given to this new business development, right? Because you're not thinking about it as a job. You're not thinking, well, how do I identify an ideal seller? an ideal buyer? And how do I create solutions for their problems? And I need to know their problems. So nobody's giving any thought to that. We're just sitting around. And the third point is we're hoping that somebody refers to us or comes to us serendipitously. And that's really rendering us to be a bunch of hobbyists waiting for a sale, hoping that somehow we get the call. All right, let me summarize it this way. Repurposing your core content, okay, around, or really your misperception, refocusing, right? Don't have this misperception that really what you are at the core is a salesperson. You're a business person now, right? That's what you are. You're a business person with a new perception that sales is just a department in this holistic approach. And that's what you're doing. You're thinking about marketing, aka new business development. You're thinking about conversion. And as part of the later stages of conversion, there is a sale that will be available. But also, please stop sitting around waiting for somebody to hand you a sales opportunity and get about creating it. And then you'll move from a hobbyist to more of a professional real estate agent. All right, now remember, you can take immediate action to get started in the right direction if you need to sell or buy property right now or in the near future, or you're an agent who wants help because you're already in the business struggling, or you're new and you're getting into it for the first time. We have step-by-step guides for all three of you at griffincourses.com. And Griffin, Griffin, courses.com. Also, don't forget, of course, you can subscribe to this podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you listen, Google Play. And you can find us on any of our social media channels, Griffin Realty Group, so that you don't miss out on any of our insights each time we upload an episode. By the way, The Griffin, TheGriffin.co is where all of this content lives. That's our main mothership website. But of course, we'd also appreciate it if you would comment or share our content with anybody thinking about selling or buying property so that they can get the help that they need to be successful. Also, remember, we sign off the same way every time, and we want you to remember this. Nobody's coming for you. Nobody's coming to do all of this for you. So you must take action and get to work on a plan for buying or selling property or becoming a successful real estate agent. And like I said, we'll be here each week trying to help you do just that. Thanks for listening.